Welcome to Celebrating Act Two, where John Cole and I get to speak with Bill Jordan, our favorite baby boomer extraordinaire.
Hey, Bill, I was talking to somebody about your book, um, Embrace the
What book?
Boom. Yep.
Yeah.
And your movement, the Embrace the Boom movement.
Yeah.
What's the slogan? Is Embrace the Boom, forget your age. What is it?
Live your life, forget your age, embrace the boom.
And
And of
embrace.
course, the baby boomers.
Sure. So anyway,
Any-
what I wanted to say was I was talking to them about your book and the best practices for living is what I call them. And it's a great idea. And I wanted to ask you, do you ever do personal appearances and lecture on your book? Maybe it's a booklet really, but
Yeah.
book signing kind of thing. Do you ever do that personal appearance thing?
I've signed them. Marianne and I did, because she's an author as well. She and I spoke to a ladies club in a nearby little sleepy community. Maybe last month or two. We got another one coming up next month. We don't really promote it or anything, but when we've been asked, we try to accommodate when we can. Typically, I will go and like dole out the mugs, give out the mugs, but my business card and ask them to buy the book. I don't have enough books on hand to be, and plus the logistics of selling them and stuff in person and everything. So
Sure.
I'm happy to give out the mugs. I got plenty of them, but I don't have plenty of books. And the books are where I make my money when we sell those. But short answer to your question, yes, we do that. I find it greatly rewarding, though, when somehow it will come up in conversation or I have an opportunity to naturally lead into the book. Quick story that you guys may appreciate. I was at our local post office here a couple of weeks ago, and I had a package to mail to my brother out in Texas, and I'm waiting in line, and a young man is in front of me, and in front of us is an older guy, maybe a little older than I, at the counter, and he's having a little bit of a disagreement with the postal clerk about the post office procedures and what he's got to do to get this thing mailed. And after a while of exasperation, this older guy looked at the postal clerk and said, "Is this candid camera? Is there a camera hidden around here somewhere? Are you messing with me?" But he kept saying candid camera. And I'm laughing, going, when's the last time you heard about candid cameras?
Yeah.
The guy came back over to this little island there by the line to come up to the next open window. And the guy said, "Yeah, it's like candid camera around here." I said, "Can?" I'm laughing. And the young man in front of me was laughing. And I said, "Hey, man," I leaned into him. I said, "Hey, man, you ain't old enough to remember a candid camera." And he said, "I remember a candid camera." I said, "There's no way you can remember a candid camera." He said, "I'm 40 years old." And I paused and I went, "You still ain't old enough to remember candid camera." And then he said, "Well, my mom and dad brought me up on all that stuff, showed me all that." I said, "Okay, you've got good moms and a good mom and dad there doing that." And then something came up. I said something about that I was 70, turned 70 last July, and he paid me a nice compliment. Said, "Well, hey, you look great for 70. He's like, "Hey, thanks a lot." But he said, "Well, I'm 40. And I said, "You're 40, huh?" He said, "Yeah." And then he turned and he looked at me and he said something that no one has ever asked. And it blew my mind, flabbergasted me. My gabber was my flabber was gasted. He said, "Do you have any advice for the 40-year-old guy?"
Wow.
Who asked you that?
Yeah.
Everyone should, really. I mean, looking back at our own lives, don't. I wish I'd asked some guy who was 70, "Hey, man, give me some tips. What do I not know yet? Tell me what I don't. Tell me, that's what gets me is when you don't know what you don't know."
Yeah.
So I told him right out of my book, I said, "Practice number one, man, attitude of gratitude. Begin your day. Have it as just a subcurrent through your day of being grateful for stuff. You're stuck at the traffic light. You're in a car that isn't in the shop. You're healthy. You're whatever. There's always something to be grateful for. And I do find I have a better day, even when it's generally kind of a crappy day. Otherwise, it's a better day when I find things, actively seek things and think about things for which I am grateful.
That's a great story. That's a great
Yes.
story. Now, that's the reason I asked you if you lecture, is because I know, besides being great advice, your best practices, you've got a story behind every one.
Probably pretty much. And
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty much. And it's just, you know, and I've said this before when we've spoken before. These are not any new earth-shaking ideas. These are maybe just new ways to look at the Serenity Prayer or the Golden Rule or Keep It Simple.
Yeah.
New ways to look at it. Just start to think about it a little bit more. If you keep it handy, and I've got friends, female friends, keep it in their purse. People keep it in their bathroom. I mean, I don't care where you keep it, but just to reference it from time to time, pick it up and read one or two. You can read the whole thing in a lunch hour. You know,
Well,
you
you know,
can't.
something I have to tell you that I have a bone to pick with you, because we've been talking now for 3-4 years. I think I can say we're pretty good friends. We enjoy our banter as we opine on different things, Boomer. And I have been reading this book for years now, and you have been threatening to come up with a sequel. And quite frankly, this puppy's all alone. What's going on with that? Are you coming up with a sequel?
You know what? I believe in, as far as in the creative process, you can't force it. And my daughter's a metalsmith, silversmith, other people who are writers. My wife is a writer, or if I'm a writer, somebody can say, hey, you need to write a book about ... If the idea does not come from within or strike a real chord with you, then you're just chasing something false. I have thought of what could I do as far as a number 2 or as a sequel. So far, nothing has really hit me as of yet. The only thing that's kind of percolated ever so slightly, and maybe your suggestion is going to let it rekindle a bit, is the notions of learning through metaphor.
Hmm?
And that is, there's lessons in life all over the place as far as metaphors for life, whether it's in golf. You know, yeah, you can hit a bad shot, try not to have the bad hole. You can still have a great hole after a bad shot.
Oh, that's good.
You know, there's
Metaphors,
stuff,
yeah.
you know, you think when you trying not to force things, if you think about casting a fishing line, you bring it back and you don't jerk it back. You just kind of smooth, let it go back, and then it loads, right? The rod bends, it loads, and then you slowly, and then you release all the speed is when you cast it. There's lessons in life about that. There's lessons in the seasons, spring, summer, fall,
Sure.
winter. I mean, so
That's a
to
good one.
come up with a list of metaphors of seeking life's lessons, whether it be in nature or in sports or just things all around us, that kind of does fascinate me.
Well, Bill, life is like a box of chocolates. No. Life is like Embrace the Boom. It's a good mug. It's a good slogan. And it's, by the way, a book of 15 great practices.
Well, 16, if you count the extra. You know, I threw that extra one in. That's very important. 16.
That's true. That's true.
16.
By the way,
Live your life, forget your age, embrace the boom, whether you be a baby boomer or not. Thank you, gentlemen. Always a pleasure.
this is available on Amazon. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Yes. And if I want a mug,
You got to go there to BillJordanEmbraceTheBoom.com. The mug, it's 15 ounces of whatever you want to hold in it. It is amphibious, left or right, and free shipping.
Wow.
And free shipping anywhere domestically. That's why it's $20. I mean, it's a big mug, and
By the way, I have
the best.
I was gonna give you a plug, but John and you have both stolen my thunder here. This is probably my favorite mug because, first of all, it feels solid. It doesn't
Oh, yeah.
feel like those little thin, tinny things where you burn your lips on it because there's like an eighth of an inch of ceramic between you and the hot liquid. And I have virtually only hot liquids in here. And it is probably the most solid. And how many ounces did you say? 15?
15, I believe.
Wow,
16.
really, really awesome. Anyway, I highly recommend it.
Appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much.
Here's to you.
Right back at you.
For more on Celebrating Act Two, visit our webpage, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and tell your friends. Celebrating Act Two is the user manual for the second half of your life.